somehow the call I got messed up my phone, and then that means drama. So let's go back to our art. All right, so those are my examples. All right. You saw a little bit behind the curtain here. And, oh man, it's gotta be. Did my phone turn on Wi-Fi? No, it didn't. Okay. Anyway, guys, let's keep going. Okay, so I'm at the point where I would use my chisel marker. I'm going to include, maybe this is why the cat's scared, because he sees a little spirit coming up out of the cemetery. All right. And then, of course, the other internet's not working, so I can't even, like, see the comments and stuff as they're happening, because I can't see my phone when it's above like that. So I use my computer to kind of monitor what's going on in the live stream. But apparently not so much. Just technology in the universe is not working with me today. All right, so we're going to go ahead and use that fat Sharpie to fill in the silhouette, and then we get to go to the most fun part. So this will probably be a 2-day lesson, maybe. Well, just depends. Depends on how long your art period is. If you have a really short art period, you most definitely will need to have a double session. But if you have like a 60 to 90-minute block, maybe you want to do this with middle schoolers. You could add more information about architecture, like eras and styles. That would be cool for older kids. And they could incorporate some of that into their mansions, their haunted mansions. Oh, we might have something going on here. Go to your channel, view my channel. Part two, my video. Hey guys, a little ASMR for you. I hope you can hear it. I wish I had clicky nails. Can This is where that slow down comes into play, because if you try to draw too quickly with the Sharpie, you're going to get more gray tones than nice solid black tones. It's a test in patience for sure. Sometimes, as a teacher, when the kids are doing marker projects like this, and you've got, you know, whatever it is, 20-something kids, and they get that, oh, where is it sound? There, that one. Virtual nails on a chalkboard. And there's like that, you get like 2 or 3 kids that that's how they press it onto their project every time. Screech, 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 screech. And you have to like, be like, guys, for reals. Because then the other kids around them are like, stop. Mrs. Johnson, he's squeaking. You're like, yeah, he's arting. Not a whole lot I can do about that in art class. Okay, so if you are on the replay, I will be fast forwarding this. If you are on the live, sorry, gotta hang with me to see the results. Plus, get your ASMR for the day. All right. Okay, we're almost there, guys. Hang in there. If you don't know who I am, I didn't say my pleasantries, did I? We just kept going. This is part 2 of a video. So normally I would say, hi, welcome to the ArtsyFartzy Club. My name is Mrs. Johnson, and of course, I am so happy for you to be with me today, right? Always. If you take the time to watch this, I really appreciate it. So I'm not just throwing stuff out into the universe with no one to watch it. All right. Almost done with the house. And then we just need to get in the ground and voila. Now, so the ghost is white, so I'm leaving him white, but some students will do things like bones or other tombstones and things like that down here. And you have to play with that negative positive. So in this case, the house is the positive space, right, on a white negative background. But if we put onto the hill and we're doing this silhouette, the ghost becomes the positive space, and then our black now becomes the negative space. So you're kind of playing around with this visual idea of what's positive and negative. I mean, that's actually a really cool concept to teach your students. Probably should have not drawn the line across, to be honest. Sad face. So once again, playing with that positive, negative, the path I'm going to let be lighted from the open door. All right, slow lines, Mrs. Johnson. Got to get that, give that ink time to fill in. This marker is starting to dry out. Sad. Might have to switch to a regular tip Sharpie, because I don't want you don't want your black spaces to be gray. That's the key thing here. Oh my goodness. Every time I draw, I just think of, when I'm doing this at least, I think of Mark Kistler. If you don't know who Mark Kistler is, he had a public television drawing show, and that's how I learned to draw and got inspired to draw. Loved it. Didn't know, I actually had zero intention of being an art teacher. That all came about in college. But I decided, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? And I was going to be a veterinarian. And then I got into my classes and I was like, gosh, I got to really want it really bad. I don't know if I can do this. I started to panic because I was always one of the smarter kids in the room. And then I saw like how competitive it was, and I'm not necessarily a competitive person. Only like 12 people graduate from the program a year. And I don't know. I was also in a bad place with some relationship and mental health issues before. So then I go, okay, what do I enjoy doing? And how can I still help people? I wanted to help, I wanted to help animals and their owners in particular. So how can I still help people? And I go, I can do art that I enjoy and help people, help children by teaching them about art. And lo and behold, I didn't realize how political teaching is too. So you'll learn a lot of things as you get into your field of work, and it's not quite what you thought it was going to be. Life starts lifing, right? Here we go. Oh, we're so close, friends. The end is nigh. Oh, boo. You're like looking at my lap. I dislike. Okay. Is there some happy medium in between so you're not looking at my computer either? Do. Slow down your coloring to allow that marker ink to get onto the paper. The faster you go, the less ink has the opportunity to get onto the paper. Oh, I'm sorry, Percy. Am I disturbing you? Percy the cat is still taking a nap in here. And if I get too loud, it bothers him. By the way, we adopted Percy from the Humane Society, and he is 6 years old. And I have to say, if you ever consider adopting a cat, double think about the kitten, because we had kittens. Actually, had adopted a feral kitten. and the little bugger just destroying my house. I really did love it though. It was my snuggle buddy. She would snuggle with me all the time. She was my friend. And then she got out one day because I have 4 children, and they, oh, see, dislike this eraser. They accidentally let her out, and I was able to get her back in like 3 days. And then they let her out again, and she never came back, that poor little kitty cat. So then after a little while, I decided I was going to try one more time to adopt a cat. And this guy, he's 6 years old, but he is the friendliest, kindest little cat I have ever seen. He just comes right up to you. He wants pets. And he doesn't destroy much. I mean, every once in a while he gets into my furniture, but then I have to, reminds me to trim his nails. He's just so sweet. And I would have missed out if I would have tried to get a kitten. And I just don't think I'm a kitten person because I don't want all the kitten behaviors of getting into my junk. All right, guys, so here's the silhouette. So now the fun part happens. So this is just all the prep. Like, you could have a bajillion different possibilities. Here's some student examples. These are actually not my students' examples, but examples from students, and just all different arrangements. I mean, it allows for a lot of variety and inspo. You can talk about architecture. You could add a tree, which we didn't even talk about. And there's so much that you can do. Okay, so now we're here. So I'm going to activate my paint. We are not using black today at all. We're just going to activate yellow, orange, red, purple, and blue. Okay, we're going to start with our weakest color, and the weakest color is yellow. And I want it nice and painty, and I'm going to start in my windows. Okay, so nice and yellow. I want it to be really vibrant against that black. Got a little crazy with the cheese whiz there, getting off my edge. But here's the thing. You use the permanent marker so that when you painted, it wouldn't bleed in to those areas. Okay? So I can wipe this off and it's not getting any black into my window area. Now, I'm going to add in some orange using that wet. So we're doing a wet on wet technique, and we're going to allow some orange light to also be in this space. And it should just kind of bleed into your yellow. Okay, so creating these blurs, this blend between that yellow and orange. And you're going to proceed to do all the windows first. Nice, bright, strong paint. Get that yellow in all those windows. Okay, when I do my paintbrush, I always tell my children that your paintbrush is like a ballerina. It wants to be on its tippy toes. We don't smash it down to the metal, because if you smash it down to the metal, you are, 1, going to start losing bristles. 2, it's going to give them a bad hair day. And I have had many a student ruin a paintbrush, and it's all scrunched, and it will never be the same ever again. And 3, you can scratch your paper. You literally can make scratch marks from the metal into the paper, and you can't take those back. A pencil mark you can erase. Scratches, not so much. I'm running out of yellow paint, my friends. Oh my goodness, I'm going to need a new paint set soon, or at least a pot of yellow. All right, getting this nice and watery. This one's a little on the not so watery side. And I'm going to start dripping in that orange, especially kind of at the top where it's kind of a little more into the room. Like it's, oh, a little bit darker at the ceiling. But it's gonna travel. I mean, you have a little bit of control, but not a lot. It's a wet on wet technique. So we're gonna just go, okay, happy accident. We're gonna just let these things happen where it's going to kind of roll into the other color and see, like it's coming down and it's traveling down here in the middle. I didn't choose for it to do that. That's a ripple in the paper. It's just happily having its own little party where it's decided to do that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the path, like the light is casting out into the path. What am I not going to paint, guys? I am not going to paint the ghost. I want the ghost to remain white, okay? It's supposed to be a ghost. I'm going to let that orange travel a little bit. Can play around just a little bit. There we go. All right, now we're going to create a sunset effect. What am I not going to paint? I'm not going to paint this ghost because I want him to remain white. I'm not going to paint inside my moon because I want that to remain white like a moon. What I didn't do, I didn't include bats. And I do want to create at least a couple bats. So we're going to make a little bat body. I'm sure there's numerous ways that you can make bats. This is my deal. This is what I'm doing. I don't like how, yuck, how weird I made this wing. I'm gonna make this bat a little bit bigger to fix that. I don't know why I made him so pointy on that side. There we go. Make another little guy. He's farther away. Whee! Does anybody else have music play in their head while you're doing art? Oh my goodness. I'm just thinking of the Count from Sesame Street and the bat song. Batty, batty, bat, batty, batty, bat. 1, 2, 3. Batty, batty, bat, batty, batty, bat. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 bats. Ah, ah, ah. And I got my finger, my side of my hand into my window. Sad. Don't worry, I'll paint over it. I can try to fix it though. Get a little bit of water and wipe that up. There we go. Clean your brush. Keep cleaning your brush. Keep cleaning your brush. Take a little paper towel. Dab, dab, dab. All right, on the most part, fixed. Okay, here we go, guys. Going from light to dark, like a sunset or a sunrise. I'm going to say sunset because we're going into the spooky time, right? We want it to be nighttime at the Shrieking Shack, at the Weasley house. Really watery. In fact, I might switch over to my fat watercolor brush. What makes a watercolor brush a watercolor brush? It's really the bristles. So this is the traditional watercolor brush that comes in your paint set, but it can also be a flat-headed brush. It's all about the bristles. They're soft and they retain water really well. So I want this big fat one. This big one's going to retain a lot of water for me and allow me to cover a bigger area more quickly. Okay, and we'll get some of that orange. Lots of water, y'all. Working quickly, 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 because I want the colors to blend. Okay, trying not to get inside Mr. Ghost here. And I'm going to switch it over to the red and see, see how the orange and the red are playing with each other? We want them to get along, and for that to happen, it needs to be wet. They won't play around with each other if they're drying out. And then we're going to transition to purple. The reason I'm going from yellow to orange to red to purple is this is the light spectrum. These colors mix together to make each other. So red makes purple by mixing in with blue. It's next to each other on the color wheel, and so therefore they will blend together nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that purple, and I might come in and make my paints a little bit darker even, but for now, just trying to make magic happen. Okay, going up to the moon, but not into the moon. And last, definitely not least, we're gonna get some blue. Now, I said we weren't gonna use black, but I might use black. Let me tell you why. Because I want the blue to not be a sunny day blue. I want it to be a midnight blue. Oh my goodness, I have red or orange marker on my table and it's sneaking into my painting because my marker is getting wet. I didn't wash my table first. Mrs. Johnson usually washes her table. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to get a little bit of that black, and I'm going to make sure that it plays nice with my blue. I don't want it to be black black. I want it to be a dark blue. So it's watery, really watery. Think of it kind of like a vignette. I'm doing it thicker at my corners than I am at the top. Okay, you see that wet on wet where they're all just kind of blending and playing around with each other. I might come back in and make that purple a little more purple. Oh, I got into my window. Shame, shame, I know your name. So I made a little bit of that yellow leak out onto my purple. Got a little crazy there. All right, so I just clean my brush and I soak it up. You just dry off your brush a little bit, it's clean, and then you just soak up that yellow. Let's say, get back here. Okay, coming back in with my purple again. I want it to play around with that blue, but I definitely want it to be a little bit darker. I'm not trying to make a pretty sunset. I mean, the picture is pretty-ish, but I want it to be more dramatic. I want that contrast of the dark versus the bright colors. And if those colors aren't bright, then you're not kind of really getting that feel of the contrast. Okay, and come back in with my reds a little bit too. And then of course, what do I come in after that? See how they're playing? So now that red is becoming maroon because it's playing with the purple. This is good. You don't want it to look like a Crayola set. I mean, it does. Nothing wrong with true colors, but when we are able to mix together and blend, it makes it more visually interesting. It's unexpected. go. See, and then that red and burgundy is muddying the orange a little bit. And I told you I'm running out of my yellow altogether in my paint pot, so this is going to become a lot more orange yellow than I intended, but that's all right. All right, if you're watching, please like the video and subscribe. I really appreciate that. That helps me out a lot. I do this every Saturday morning. My name is Mrs. Johnson, and this is the ArtsyFartzy Club. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. It's something that is simple for all ages, most ages. I probably wouldn't do this below 5 because the designs might start to, be a little bit too complicated for them. But I mean, you could even do a painting and then do construction paper instead of doing the Sharpie technique. So have them have a toddler do a sunset painting and learn the wet on wet technique, and then have black construction paper shapes that they are able to put over top of that. That would be really cool. That would actually make this lesson more accessible to an even younger crowd. But most students starting at 5 up, not early school year 5, but once they've been drawing for a little bit, they're going to know what you're doing and they'll be able to do this. So hang on, I'm going to shake you a little bit. Hang in there with me. Let's see. Hi. So thank you so much for joining with me today. I really appreciate it. Once again, my name is Mrs. Johnson, and I am the owner-operator of the ArtsyFartzy Club, a studio here in East Lake, Florida, which is right on the cusp of Palm Harbor and Tarpon Springs, where I teach students art just like this all the time. I especially love my camps. We've had a lot of hurricane camps lately, so we keep the kids busy when they're out of school. But I have lots of other art tutorials here on YouTube, so make sure that you like and subscribe. And guess what? You are now officially a member of the ArtsyFartzy Club. Yay! You didn't know it, but now you are. I absolutely love you if nobody's told you that today. Thank you so much for being here. And until we see each other again, be absolutely art-tastic.